Looking at the underside of this 94 Dodge Dakota, we see the output shaft seal here is leaking, so that's definitely something that we would suggest addressing right away. You can see there's fresh transmission fluid coming out of there. And then moving forward, at first glance, it actually looks like the transmission oil pan is leaking. You see there's fresh fluid here, all around, but it's actually coming from up here. And if you follow it up, right where the flashlight's aimed, you can see the valley pan is leaking. A little further up, it looks like I'm not sure if I can get it with this angle. Let's try and zoom in here. All right, so you can see right up there that the valve cover gasket is leaking, but the majority of the oil is coming from right here on the valley pan, and it's actually trailing all the way down the engine. It actually masks looking like a rear main seal, but if you pay attention to where it's all coming from, it's coming from above the oil pan. The only other thing we noticed is the belt looks a little rough on the outside, but the inside looks good, so I wouldn't worry about that right now. But there is a little seepage coming from the front main. Not uncommon for this year, nothing to be concerned about, just something to be aware of. Other than that, oh, actually there's one other thing. There is an exhaust leak right here, and you can see that it's been a problem before because there are two gaskets on it. It's not necessarily uncommon, but you can see that one of them has blown out again. Let me back out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, you can see right there where one of the gaskets is coming apart again, and you can hear it a little bit. It doesn't sound terrible, but just something again to be aware of.
We're inspecting the rear drum brakes on the 94 Dodge Dakota. The shoes seem to be dragging. They made noise. Didn't seem to be aligning properly on the drum. So the first thing that we see here is that it does have new hardware, new shoes. It looks like it's wearing a little uneven right here, but it does have new hardware. But if you look down here at the self-adjuster, this lever, this arm right here should be up against this gear, and that's how it self-adjusts. So this cable looks like it's on the loose side, and if you come up to here to this guide, don't know if you can see, but it's cockeyed. It's not in there right. It's supposed to be lined up inside of this hole right here, so it's flat against that shoe. Otherwise it allows slack in the cable and won't adjust properly. Moving to the other side, we basically see the same thing. The adjuster arm is nowhere near the gear. This cable has a lot of slack in it, and if you look real close in here, you can see the hole that's supposed to be lined up with. This needs to go up into that shoe quite a ways. So basically the same thing. One more thing that we noticed was this spring on this crossbar is turned around backwards. So right now, the way that's in there, it's actually not doing anything. So the yellow spring here on this crossbar was positioned this way, and it's not actually doing anything in here because it is supposed to be this way. It's smaller on one end, that way it hangs up on these shoulders and engages in the shoe like that. That way there's pressure against it. Alright, so the drum brakes are back together on this side. We went ahead and pulled the shoes off and wire brushed the contact points. There's 3 on each side, and then lubricated them as well. Keep the shoes from squeaking against that backing plate. We flipped this spring over so it's contacting the shoe like it's supposed to, and reseated this cable guide, and you can see now the cable is tight like it's supposed to be. And if you look down here at the adjuster, when these shoes get to the point where there's enough movement for them to adjust where they need to adjust, that's how that works. And when that's doing that, it's spreading the bottom of those shoes apart.